What is up, everybody? Welcome back to From the Crypt podcast, where Derek and I, usually just Derek and I, actually recently just Derek. Derek's a fucking content monster, dude. He's just been pumping out the fucking videos, dude. Absolute machine, dog. Machine. But anyway, no, normally the podcast episodes with Derek and I, we talk about movie franchises, music, movies, all kinds of stuff, horror, video games from time to time. And every once in a blue moon, we'll invite this scraggly fuck, this beautiful, gorgeous-ass motherfucker in the middle, Toby.
Hi!
And he gives some good insight on some of the stuff that we talk about, such as the topic for today, which is going to be part 1 of, I believe, 3 of the Saw franchise. We realized, I think, after the 3.5 hour long Resident Evil episode that we did, we should probably start breaking these longer franchises up into smaller bite-sized pieces, because recording for 3 hours and change is not particularly fun, but that's okay. It's okay. This one's interesting, so we'll get into it here in a little bit, but before that, how you guys been doing? What you guys been up to? What you guys been up to? Toby, go ahead, give us what you've been up to.
Oh, man.
Or
I've just been working a lot.
Or if you don't want to talk about work, how's your spooky season been? Have you been watching some fucking scary movies and shit? Have you been crunching the fall leaves under your feet?
I have been watching the franchise that has become a staple for spooky season for me, and we're talking about it here on the podcast. And to be honest, I'm so excited because I've been waiting for 35 fucking years to have an insightful conversation with Jacob about these fucking movies. A conversation that goes past, it's just torture porn.
We'll talk about it. But anyway, Derek, what about your spooky season? Your spooky season been solid? You've been obviously watching a lot of fucking scary movies, so...
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of movies, yes.
Yeah. Maybe not so scary, but...
Some of them are good, some of them are awful. That's all I've got.
In the vein of spooky season, though, nonetheless. I mean... Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's good. That's good. You guys been listening to anything recently? We got our top 5 2024 list is going to be way, 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 way better, I think, than last year. It's nuts.
You said, have you been listening to anything? Dog, I've been listening to everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything.
Because this year is just banger after banger release, man. It's nuts. It's nuts.
I have discovered more bands this year than I have in probably the last 5 years. Put together.
There's a lot, dude. There's a lot of shit coming out. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Fucking Oceano, fucking Bro Job just slammed us with the new album out of nowhere. At least I thought it was out of nowhere.
Most recently, I would like to give a shout out to Cody for introducing me to Blood Incantation's new album.
Yeah, I still have to check it out.
Is kind of wild. Like, it starts out, I was expecting just some generic death metal, which is kind of how it starts. But then, like, the longer you listen to it, and it's not a very long album, I think it's only like 40 minutes, 45 minutes, something like that. The longer you listen to it, the more random little shit starts getting incorporated, and there's a whole section of one of these songs in, like, the middle of the album where it breaks and goes into, like, this... I can only describe it as Pink Floyd. It sounds like Pink Floyd, and it's fucking awesome.
Damn. That's wild.
Yeah, if you haven't checked that out, check out Blood Incantation. I forget what the name of the album is, but I'll send that to you later.
I know he sent a picture of it in here. But, I've been listening to Winter Sun. It's called The Message... Absolute Elsewhere? Is that what it's called? Yeah, Absolute Elsewhere.
Absolute Elsewhere by Blood Incantation.
Yeah, I've been listening to the new Winter Sun album, which surprisingly is like really fucking solid. I like Winter Sun, I always have, but they've never been like a go-to for me usually. But this one's actually pretty fucking solid. It's called Time 2, following up their 2012 album, I believe, Time 1. And then Ensiferum, actually, speaking of Winter Sun, if you don't know, it's the original singer of Ensiferum. But Ensiferum has a new album coming out later this month, so that's pretty cool too. I'm hoping that Black Braid has a new album because they released a single, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty chill. It's not nothing groundbreaking, not like anything I haven't heard before from them, but still, I want more Black Braid because I had a huge Black Braid binge for like a couple weeks this year, so definitely going to be on my Spotify Wrapped.
Dude, my Spotify Wrapped is going to be so fucked.
Yeah, same, because I've got some baby songs on there this year.
There's going to be like, it's weird. You're not gonna see this coming. There's going to be like probably a whole fucking section of my Spotify Wrapped that's devoted to like outlaw country.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. I'm gonna go binge a bunch of Creed or something like that. That way it could pop up on my Spotify Wrapped.
If only we had Creed 182.
No shit. That was so good, dude. That was so good. I loved every single second of that. I was grinning from ear to ear, and Meg was like, "What is that?" And I said, "Meg."
Life.
Meg's like, "You're fucking stupid."
I said, "Meg, my dear, that is Creed 182." Oh, so good. So good. But anyway, yeah, I've got... speaking of watching stuff, though, I've been keeping a list of all the movies and stuff. Some of these are like ones that I'm probably going... Like, I need to watch, like, the Friday the 13th movies I had on here before I actually watched all of them, but 1 through 12 and so forth. So this list should... If I actually wrote out all of the fucking movies, it would be a lot longer looking, but I've got quite the slew of spooky movies that I've actually watched this year, so that's cool. And speaking of those spooky movies, the ones we're talking about today, we are talking about the Saw franchise, guys. We're talking about the Saw franchise. We're going to be starting with the first three, the OG trilogy of the Saw franchise, 1, 2, and 3. Next, we will talk about the next 4 after this, I believe, and then the last ones. So we'll do a 3-parter for this series. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start off with saying, because I know Toby and I have had a little bit of a disagreement in the past with these movies, and I watched these movies initially before I even started getting into horror. Like, a lot of the stuff that I was getting into when I first started getting into horror was like Nightmare on Elm Street and things that are just like super high fantasy type shit that fall into the realm of fantasy horror, you know. And this stuff was not my bag, you know. So if I would have seen Hostel or something like that, I would have been like, no, this is fucking garbage. Or if I would have seen like fucking the Saw movies, for example, I was like, no, this is fucking garbage. It's not my cup of tea. But as I have gotten older and have rewatched them, I actually rewatched Saw 1 last year, I believe, during spooky season, and I was like, you know what? I actually kind of fuck with this a lot. I think this is actually kind of cool, like what they did here, especially for the time it came out. And that's pretty much where I left it. But Toby was like, hey, we should do something. I think it was Toby that said, hey, we should do it from the Crypt episode, or maybe Derek and you guys both were talking about it. I can't remember, but I was like, you know what? And I'm in the middle of the fucking Halloween movies, and I had just watched the Rob Zombie Halloween movies and was like, fuck me, dude. I need to cleanse my palate. So what better to do that than with the Saw movies? And after my come to Jesus moment with the Saw 1 last year, I was like, you know what, fuck it. I actually am kind of curious as to whether or not I would think the same with Saw 2 and 3 that I did with the first one, where I didn't like them at first, and now I kind of fuck with them. And I do kind of fuck with them. I do. First three, I think, are pretty solid overall, you know? And we'll go ahead and get into the gritty of it, too. But, yeah, just a weird, just very interesting change of heart on those. Because, yeah, at first I was like, this ain't it, Chief. This ain't it. But, anyway. Derek, go ahead. Start us off, man.
Alright. So, released October 29th, 2004. Saw! First Saw. Made on a budget of $1 million. And it ended up grossing $103.9 million.
So, needless to say, they made some fucking money.
Big success. So, of course, we get the whole entire franchise of it.
Yep.
So, I think... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think... From, like, franchise aside, this one movie, is a fucking marvel in cinema. The fact that they only had $1 million to make this movie, and it ended up being as good as it is, and it was risky. Like, when this movie came out, there was nothing else like it.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, anyway. And certainly nothing on this level of, like, certainly nothing that Donald Glover would have been a part of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's just fucking impressive. And every time, I rewatch this movie every single year around Halloween, because this is my favorite horror movie of all time. It will never cease to amaze me, the shit that they were able to achieve with this first movie, when it was largely filmed in one room.
Right.
Keeping that budget low.
Keeping that budget low. And
you gotta have Donald Glover in your movie.
We know for a fact how hard it is to even get one room to record in, making the Pizzaverse. We tried hard to find a fucking prison set piece anyway, and we have access to 2 whole ass prisons where we lived. So
that's okay. So that's another thing. That's actually something that I didn't learn until like last year. I found this video on YouTube. I forget the name of the channel, or else I'd shout them out. But it's this couple that goes around to like famous horror movie like filming locations and shit. Derek, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but they did a video where they went to the Saw bathroom, or where the Saw bathroom was filmed, and it's literally just a room in a fucking warehouse. That whole set, that bathroom, is all completely, like, it's not real. Yeah. That's a set. They built that whole fucking set.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean,
I had no idea. I figured it was like a...
If we had $1 million, we could have
I figured at least, like, the core of the fucking room was, like, an actual bathroom somewhere. But no, it's just, like, a random room in the middle of a abandoned warehouse.
Nice. Yeah, it's nuts, man. It's nuts. It's insane to see what they could do with the budget that they had, and obviously we know now. I'm 5 movies in, by the way, for anybody watching. I have not finished yet, but I'm 5 movies in, and seeing some of the Saw traps that they have come up with since the first movie is fucking wild. So, like, the fact that they were able to do all of that and keep people compelled in one room, basically, you know, for the most part, with the budget that they had compared to some of the shit they're pulling now, is nuts. So, yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
No, great cast in this one. Cary Elwes, I've never been able to pronounce his last name. Dr. Gordon.
What?
We lost.
I don't know what happened. I lost power to my tablet, but...
Okay, we regained him, Toby.
Yeah, this will have to do. Sorry, guys.
No, you're good.
There we go.
How's that?
Yeah, you're good.
Good.
You're
All
good.
right.
Lee Winnell is Adam. I mean, obviously Donald Glover. I mean, or Danny Glover. Sorry, Danny Glover. Just awesome. And then even Dina Meyer from Starship Troopers as Carrie. I have always really liked the cast in this movie. I also, there are some aspects of it where the low budget sticks out for me because, like, the chase towards the end, where, you know, they're like in the van and you can tell they're not driving. It's just that always kind of like, I'm always like, ugh, could have done a little bit with that.
Dude, that one shot specifically of Donald Glover in the car going like this, and the fucking background is all like shaky and shit. That is one of the funniest scenes in any movie I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, we also, yeah, it's Danny Glover, not Donald Glover. We've been saying
Not
that.
Childish Gambino.
Yeah,
The other Glover.
I get
Myrtle.
Yeah, whatever. Danny Glover. That guy, the guy from Predator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Predator 2, yeah. But also, Carrie's acting, Dr. Gordon's acting towards the end, that it gets comical. I'm not even gonna lie. I would be freaking out as well, but it just, I don't know. I don't hold this movie in as high regard as you do, Toby, because it's a good movie. I'm not going to say it isn't. I will say it was definitely a great starting point for a franchise, though. 100% will say that.
I loved it. I thought it was great. For like I said, for what it is, and when it was made, I think it was very good. And I agree that the budget showed quite a bit in some places and whatnot, but and I know he wasn't really in the movie all that much. Like, I mean, he was in the whole thing, but Tobin, Jigsaw himself, is just a fucking creepy dude, man. He is a creepy motherfucker, and even in later movies, even in 2 and 3, you know, like when he's a little bit more front and center, and he's able to like play himself a little bit more, dude's creepy, man. I mean, I think just talking to him when he's I'm sure like him as an actor, like not as a character, is probably chill as fuck, but like if he'd come up to me and talk to me like Jigsaw talks to everybody, very like calculated, and like be able to like respond with wit immediately, you know, with just that deadpan face, dude, I'd scare the shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie. Dude is creepy, and he plays the role so fucking well, dude. They couldn't have picked a better person for Jigsaw.
It is really, going back to the budget, it is really fucking impressive that they were able to, on a budget of $1 million, create an icon in this genre that stands up there with the greats that have been there since damn near the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One more thing I have to point out, because I pointed it out multiple times since we've been watching these. But me, my sister, and my girlfriend have been watching these all together in like in order and so forth. And every single time Deanna and I, we like watch a new one, we're like, man, the fucking Hell's Kitchen edits are wild. Because I don't know if you guys have seen any episodes, like actual episodes of Hell's Kitchen, but all the like random jumping and flashes to different scenes and shit, like cut together bits, and the very dramatic fucking lights and flashing and like soundtrack and everything is like in your fucking face in Hell's Kitchen. I mean, I'm not even fucking kidding you. If you've never seen Hell's Kitchen before, just go watch an episode, any episode from the first like 8 seasons of Hell's Kitchen, and just listen to it, dude. It's fucking insane. And then just keep track of all the different transitions and flashing lights and like scenes moving around and shit. And they do that stuff in Saw. At least the first 3, they do that quite a bit. It is intense how much edit goes into the very dramatic drama building scenes and stuff like that. It's fucking wild. So every time they do some shit like that, I'm like, man, the fucking Hell's Kitchen edits are fucking wild, dude. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that editing is like
Early 2000s is fuck.
The reverse bear trap scene in the first movie.
Yeah.
I always think it's funny that like they're setting up this scene, and as they're filming it, they're like, "All right, you got 60 seconds before this thing rips your face open. I want you to stand up, freak out, and then stand there and fucking wiggle for like a good minute and a half."
Yeah, we're gonna speed it up really fast. It's nuts, dude. I love it. I mean, it's cheesy as fuck, but I love every second of it because of like, I don't know, it just reminds me of Hell's Kitchen, and I love Hell's Kitchen. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah. Any more thoughts on 1 to get out right now? Or are we gonna just move on to 2?
Ending?
What?
Talk about the ending.
the ending. Oh yeah, the ending.
Yeah,
So. Spoilers, by the way. Anybody that's not seen, I'll put my little spoiler warning up here on screen for y'all, so you guys don't roast us too hard for not telling you about spoilers for a movie that's been out for fucking several years. But yeah, we're gonna have spoilers in these, by the way, so make sure you're aware of that. I'm glad I caught that before we said anything.
I didn't realize this until just now. We're filming this on the 20-year anniversary of this movie coming out.
Is it really?
I mean, maybe not today, but the year.
Yeah.
It's 20 years.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
towards the month, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so the ending, we have the big reveal, and for anybody that doesn't know, there are 2 men that are locked into this bathroom, chained to a pipe or whatever, and they can't get out, and obviously the movie plays through. They've tried everything to get out, and they can't get out. Well, there's also a dead man that's been in this bathroom with them the entire time. He's been laying face down on the floor in a pool of his own blood. At least that's what we think. That's what the audience thinks, and that's what these 2 gentlemen think as well. And it is revealed that that was Jigsaw. That was John the entire time. He gets up, and it was part of his plan the entire time. It was part of his game the entire time. But these 2 men were sitting in here trying to figure out who put them in this fucking room, why they would have done that, all this kind of shit. And he was there the entire time. And they had no fucking idea. They didn't know. And
There's a really funny line towards the beginning, and it's only funny in retrospect. There's a line where right shortly after they wake up and they're like looking around and trying to figure out what's going on, where Adam looks at the body and he goes, "I've never seen a dead body in real life before. They don't move."
oof.
They don't move because they're dead, but he's not dead.
Yeah. Yeah, so the fact that he just like nonchalantly gets up and peels his fucking makeup off the side of his head was wild. When I first watched it, I was like, huh. Wow.
The key is in that tub.
Yeah. It's nuts. I love it. But yeah, that's pretty solid. Pretty solid.
One of, if not the greatest twist endings in any movie I've ever seen. I wish I could have seen this in theaters when it came out without having the prior knowledge.
I did.
Because like
Toby was a baby.
when I went into this fucking series, I knew that Jigsaw was Jigsaw. Like, as soon as you see him laying on the floor, having seen the other movies, you're like, oh, that's fucking John Kramer, right? But like, when you put yourself into the mindset of like somebody sitting in the theater watching this movie that has never seen any of the other ones and had no idea, that is one of the greatest twist endings of all time.
Yeah.
I will definitely tell you, yeah, it was great to live that because we were there opening night in Quincy, me and like 6 of my friends, and yeah, that was a mind fuck for sure. It was great to be able to experience that.
Hell
I will
yeah.
forever be jealous of that.
All right. So what we got for Saw 2?
All right, released October 28th, 2005. Made for a budget of $4 million, but bringing in $152.9 million. We have got Saw 2.
Saw 2.
Yeah. I'll just go ahead and say it. I do prefer Saw 2 over Saw 1. It does what good sequels do. It elevates, makes it bigger, introduces new characters, and yeah, knocked it out of the fucking park with Saw 2. And the addition of Donnie Wahlberg as, Detective Matthews, loved him in this movie. He was awesome. Very conflicted, very much kind of a shithead, and a douchebag cop. And then the house trap, just in general. Loved the fucking house trap. Just a great idea.
Yeah, the fucking riddles and stuff before each trap are always fun to like us as viewers. It is pretty meta for us to understand what he's talking about, and we know that these traps are probably going to kill these motherfuckers or rehabilitate these motherfuckers, and it's fun, I think, to listen to Jigsaw's explanation of the rules and so forth. And then there's always going to be that one thing that he says that's so fucking vague, which we learn in this movie, where he tells, again, spoilers, Eric, or Sergeant Matthews, or whatever the fuck his name is, that if he just sits and listens to the rules for the duration of this time,
he'll find his son in a safe and secure location.
And he's literally locked in a safe in the same room as him. Secure, and he's fine. All he had to do was wait for that timer to run out, and the safe would have unlocked. But because Sergeant Matthews is so distraught and unable to control his emotions in that situation, which totally understandable, mind you. I mean, I would also be just as freaked out and conflicted. Loses his shit and forces himself into a different position to go and search for his son himself, which is one of the victims in the house and the house trap and so forth. So that's pretty cool. This is also we get to see Shawnee Smith again. What's her character?
Amanda.
Yeah, we get to see Amanda again, but in a little bit more of a full capacity, and we find out that she's like helping Jigsaw and so forth towards the end of it and whatnot. Which is something I think we'll talk about a little bit more in 3, but did I not see that right at the very end of Saw 2? Did they not reveal that Amanda was helping him the whole time? At the end of 2?
Yeah, she was the one who closed the door on Matthews.
Yeah.
She got the game over line in this one.
Yeah, so why in 3 was there such a weird, like, big reveal that the person wearing the pig head was Amanda the whole time or whatever? Like, we all fucking knew that already. But there's a scene in the 3rd movie, I think, because there are a couple scenes actually where Amanda is in the pig head or whatever, and she's like, kidnapping the victims and whatnot. But it's like, it's not until a good chunk of the movie in where they pull the mask off in slow motion and it's revealed that it's Amanda. Ooh! But everybody already fucking knows that. We already knew that.
No, I think it was just to show that it was actually her. It wasn't meant as like a big fucking thing, because for the most part, everybody was just suspecting that it was John doing it. So then seeing her, it's like, oh, okay. So I at least never took it as like, oh shit, she's the apprentice and she's doing. No, I never took it like that.
Oh. Okay. Maybe that was just me interpreting it weird, but anyway, 2, yes.
Because that's like other entries into the franchise that we'll discuss later, like, because they have those similar things where they showed this person doing that. And it wasn't meant to be like a, just as a, oh, they were doing that. Okay. I see. Yeah. The fucking house trap was very cool. Very fucked up. Fuck the needle pit.
Dude, the needle pit was hard to watch. I'm not gonna lie. That just was disgusting to watch.
I'm gonna be honest. I think the worst, at least for me, the worst trap in this house is the one where the chick puts her hands up in the fucking thing to get the antidote.
Oh.
Like, it's so fucking easy to avoid that. It would have been so easy to just not do that. But for fuck's sake, like, watching her try to struggle out of that, rough.
That's rough.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't put your hands into anything that looks like a fucking trap, you idiot. Come on now.
And that was my first introduction to this series. I was like probably 7 or 8 years old. My parents were out of town, and my cousin was babysitting us. And she was watching this movie in the living room. And I just happened to walk in right during that scene where she puts her hands up in the thing. That's the only... I didn't have any context. I had no idea what the fuck was going on. I just saw this girl put her hands up in this machine and then start slicing the fuck out of her wrists. And it flipped a really sadistic switch in my head. And I was like, hey, I think I'm a horror movie fan.
Yeah. Yeah, it was hard to watch. That was hard to watch. The needle pit was pretty fucked up. The furnace wasn't fun to watch either. But god damn, that boy got cooked. Especially when he said only Satan can save you. And the little Satan thing was over in the corner. And all he had to do, that was where the key was or something. Or maybe that was a button he had to press. Or I can't remember off the top of my head. But he couldn't make it to it. So...
My part about this movie is that everybody in the fucking house could have survived if they had just done what Amanda said in the very beginning and followed the fucking rules.
Yeah.
Like, Amanda makes this point to shut the whole group up and is like, you gotta follow the fucking rules.
Yep.
And then everybody in that room is like,
no.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Fuck you. I'm a man. I know better.
The big guy, the really big dude, the drug dealer. Dude.
Piece of shit.
Chill, bro. Like, he is, like, just brazen to the max, man. Just like, I am going to go balls deep into every situation I could possibly get into, even though I've been presented with solid factual evidence that this is going to fuck me up, but I'm going to do it anyway because I feel like I can do it better and not die from it. Like, dude, I'm surprised he lasted as long as he did, to be honest with you. Like, to be completely fair, I thought he would have died way sooner just being as brash as he was, you know? But holy shit, man. I was like, this guy just needs to take, like, 3 steps back and sit the fuck down. Like, oh my god, man. He was pissing me off the whole time.
You know what, though?
To do, but
he's a dickhead. But, you know, if he were put in just about any other trap in the franchise... just him, I think he would have survived.
Oh, yeah.
That dude had nuts.
You think so?
He cut like, the fucking skin off of the back of his neck. Yeah.
He's like, I just need the numbers from the back of your neck. Oh, yeah? Well, who's going to tell you yours?
Oh,
bitch, yeah. I'll tell you mine. Fuck you.
Yeah. But what about the traps that we find out later on from Amanda that she rigged to not actually be able to get out of?
Well, those aren't even technically traps if they don't have a fucking way of escaping. I mean, that's at that point. Like, Jesus couldn't even escape the fucking rib thing from 3. I mean,
Angel of Death or whatever the fuck that. I can't remember what that one's called.
Yeah,
I don't know if they named it or not, but
I think unofficial it's called the Angel Trap.
The Angel Trap. Yeah, I knew it had something to do with angels, but yeah. That's a big guy, man. He was pissing me off the entire time, as he was supposed to. But yeah, that's all I got. I mean, I think that
he's holding me back,
dude. Good shit.
Yeah.
I need to watch this one again, to be honest with you, because I think out of the first 3, this is the one I've seen the least. I've seen the first one quite a bit. I've seen the third one the most out of these 3, because I had that one on DVD. It's the only one I had on DVD. But this one I need to watch a couple more times, just because there's a level of psychological fuckery going on in each of these. So piecing everything together sometimes is a little bit convoluted, but that's part of the fun.
Oh yeah,
part of the fun.
It gets worse the more we go on too.
Oh,
I think the first movie and this movie are. I think it's too much. And I know what.
I couldn't hear you that last little bit. You cut out. What?
I said the first two movies are definitely my favorite out of the franchise to rewatch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
And I know we said it in the first movie, and I mean it kind of applies to the whole franchise. So I'm only gonna say this one more time. Tobin Bell as Jigsaw in this movie hammed it the fuck up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He's a fucking creepy dude, man.
He's a highlight of every single movie that he's in, but I think this movie is his like peak. This is like the absolute.
Yeah, because he's sitting there surrounded by cops, fucking zero shits to give, literally on death's door.
Fucking time.
Yeah, I mean he has everything, and he's like, okay, all right, whatever.
So. And maybe I did already see this in one of the movies, and if I have seen it in the first 5 movies, let me know. But if I haven't seen it yet, don't tell me, because I've only watched the first 5. But did they ever tell us or how the fuck Jigsaw has all the money to do this shit and like get all the materials and stuff for this? Did they ever explain that or no?
Yeah, very very briefly.
In one of the first 5 movies, or is it later on?
I can't remember. I know definitely in 10 for sure. Because the doctor just point blank asks him what he does and he tells her.
I think it's
okay.
First alluded to in 6. There's a point where he's like, I have money.
Okay. Do we ever find out what's in the box that his wife or ex-wife has in 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Don't tell me.
But everything's connected. Everything's connected except for the intro scene in 7.
Yeah, and I don't think, even with 7 concluding like the original run of it, I don't recall having any questions that I was like, hey, what the fuck, or anything like that. Like, it answered everything. Like,
see, that was something that I saw a lot back in the day. Criticisms about the Saw franchise is that it leaves all these plot threads and like it's got all these plot holes. And upon rewatching it just now, I just watched Jigsaw last night, so I've only got 2 left. Like, plot holes where? Like, am I missing something, or are you just telling me you didn't watch the fucking movies? Because like every fucking question that I've had the movies leave certain questions unanswered on purpose, and then they get answered in the next movie. Mm-hmm. Like, by the end of 7, there's not really any questions that I had.
Yeah.
Except, what the fuck was the deal with the intro scene in 7?
So, okay, never mind. I'm gonna start asking too many questions then, because I've got a lot of questions right now, but I'm only, like I said, I'm only on 5, so. And 5 confused the fuck out of me. Like, I got it by the end of it, yes, but there's still a lot of shit in 5 that I was just like, what the fuck? But anyway, back to 2. 2 was fucking solid. 1 is solid. I didn't know if you guys had any closing thoughts on 2.
Do you guys want to rank them? You want to rank these movies out of 10?
We should rank them at the very end, yeah, once we do our 3rd installment. Once we've talked about all 10 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and hit us with the 3 synopsis and all that shit.
All right. Released October 27th, 2006 on a budget of $10 million. 64.9. We're talking Saw 3 now, with a much more bedridden Jigsaw and Amanda taking over and not really grasping his teachings.
Which
the nurse.
Yeah, which we kind of explain a little bit in the next couple movies, I think. What Derek means by not really understanding what Jigsaw is trying to get at with his traps, because a lot of people, like myself, much like myself, before rewatching them, might think that he's just a sadistic fuck, which I still think he is a sadistic fuck. Don't get me wrong, but there's a level of like wanting to do something, but doing it to the extreme, going the most extreme route you possibly can, which in some cases might be the only way to actually rehabilitate somebody with a different mindset, especially like a murderer, for example, or a drug addict, or whatever, like a somebody that commits SA regularly, and maybe there is only the extreme way that will sedate that part of their mind into thinking, oh shit, there's a better way to go about this, and have an appreciation for life a little bit more, ironically, because a lot of people don't make it out of these traps. But
you remember that one time? You remember that one time in the first movie where Jigsaw kidnapped a guy, stripped him naked, covered him in flammable jelly, and gave him a fucking candle because he called in sick to work?
Yes. He said, "Don't drop the candle." Dude, yeah, that's fucked. Deanna was like, Deanna missed the part where like the candle was used to like illuminate the numbers that he needed, like the specific numbers he needed, and she's like, "Why the fuck didn't he just put the candle out?" I'm like, Deanna, he didn't just put that fucking candle in there for the sake of the candle being in there. He's doing that because it's got to illuminate the fucking numbers and shit, But anyway, number 3. What do we got for number 3? Number 3 opens up with, or doesn't, it might not open up with him, but what the fuck's his name? Matthews. Oh, yeah.
Beating the absolute dog shit out of his ankle with the fucking back of a toilet to get out.
Yeah. His foot is curdled.
I think
fucked.
I made this comment in the group chat as I was watching it. I'm going to make it again. I'm pretty sure smashing the fuck out of your foot with the back of a toilet tank would hurt significantly more than just hacking it off.
I believe so.
I would rather cut my foot off.
The only thing is, like, at the end of 2, he, like, "Fuck you, bitch," and throws the fucking saw and breaks it. So, I think had he had saw or toilet tank, he would have chose saw. But because he threw it out of reach and broke it,
yeah,
the man was just left with one option.
I say Wahlberg fuck decision. Sorry, I'm a certified Wahlberg hater.
Yeah, I thought that he may have just not wanted to lose his foot. So he was in the impression in his head that he was going to try to keep as much of his foot as he could. That way, when he inevitably escapes, in his mind, he could save his foot. He might not have much of a foot, but
if you completely shatter your tarsals and metatarsals and even the phalange, there's nothing to put back together. I mean, that's what happens.
But I mean, I wouldn't expect him to understand any of that or know any of that. To a layman, I'm probably thinking to myself like, fuck. Well, I may have fucked up bones, but at least I can get a cast for it, when I get out of this. Even though, obviously, to somebody that knows what the fuck they're talking about, they're like, yeah, no. You need to cut that fucking foot off. But, yeah. Anyway, it then goes to the doctor, right? It goes to the doctor after him, and we get to meet one of our main protagonists.
Lynn.
Yeah.
Lynn
who Jigsaw handpicked. Handpicked because her daughter, which we'll find out later on, is also the other guy's daughter that they picked to go through the traps and stuff. Jigsaw picks Lynn to perform a surgery on him to save his life from cancer, which we all know there's no cure for cancer. He's just trying to prolong his life, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, not even save his life. He just wants to see the trap through.
Yeah.
I think is what I took from it. He just wants to stay alive long enough to make sure that this game plays out the way that it's supposed to.
Yeah. And her husband...
Spoiler alert, it doesn't.
Yeah, her husband ends up going through the traps himself, and she doesn't know this. But her and him have a son that got killed in a car accident, and they are grieving, their relationship's falling apart and all this kind of stuff. And they also have a daughter who's being pretty much neglected by both of them. who's also kidnapped by Jigsaw and so forth. So the man does not know his wife is currently being held hostage with Jigsaw, and she does not know that he is the one that has been chosen for the trap games, to go through these different rooms and see if he can get to the end.
And the audience doesn't even know that either until the very end.
Yeah, we don't know that either. And I don't think we even know that they have his daughter until the end.
Nope. That's what I was talking about in the group chat when I said that I forgot how fucking sadistic this ending is. Like,
Yeah.
when he plays that last tape and he's like, I'm the only one that knows where your daughter is, that shit sent chills down my spine.
Yeah, that's fucked. It's
That's
fucked.
dedication. That's what that is.
And we find out later on that was also part of his plan to some degree. And that is terrifying, you know. But it plays into this master scheme that he's got already figured out, and is just letting it play out how it's going to play out and so forth. And the ice trap in this one, where the chick is hanging up in the fucking meat locker, butt ass naked, and she's getting sprayed with water. That shit was fucked. I'm not gonna lie, that was hard to watch, because I'm telling you right now, I've been in some pretty fucking cold environments before. I've been in cold environments that, like, I feel like my hands are falling off. Like, I can't feel them, you know? And it starts to hurt after that. You know, you go into the numbness first, but then it starts to get painful. And it's just ridiculous to think that was just happening over her whole body. Constantly, while it was getting sprayed with water, dude. No. But I think by far the worst trap in this entire one that would have made me give up in a heartbeat, dude. I would have quit. Is the pig guts. The rotting carcasses being dumped into that fucking thing, like, grinded up and shit. Oh no, dude. I would have fucking been vomiting on myself. I would have been choking on my own vomit. I would have been vomiting out vomit that I just vomited. Like, it's just, oh my god, dude. That shit is fucking disgusting. And
it's interesting. It's interesting that you say you would have given up, because we agree that is perhaps the worst trap in the whole franchise. However, that is the one that if I were put in, that would give me the most incentive to get out.
No, dude. The second the first pig carcass, the second the first pig carcass falls on me, I give up. I'm giving my own life away. I'm dying.
That is not how I want to die.
No, it's not it's not how I want to die either. But if I've already got one carcass on me, and this fool up here is still debating on whether or not he's even going to get me out, nah, slit my throat, dude. I don't care. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Give it up.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and just reiterate on what I said in the group chat, too, because if I was Jeff, I would not have saved anybody in this. I would have just been like, what?
Damn!
I said it. You can go back and read it. If these people, like, drunk driver, dumb fucking judge, dumb fucking witness, were all responsible in some way, shape, or form for my son dying, I would fucking bring the popcorn and literally watch them fucking die.
Well, wait, he wasn't drunk, though. He wasn't drunk driving.
I thought he was.
No. He just missed him, I think. Like, he just didn't see him or something. Is out of his peripherals or something.
I was thinking it was drunk, too. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think he was drunk. I think it was, I think that's what, like, you want to feel sympathy for him at the end, because it's such a heinous thing. Like, you think, like, oh, fuck, he killed this man's kid or whatever, and then at the end you find out that it was a complete and total accident. Like, he literally just, like, it couldn't have been avoided.
No fucking sympathy whatsoever. He could be sober as a judge. He could have been drunk. No. That literally does not change a fucking thing. I would have let them and watched them suffer.
Where is the fucking dude at? This guy here.
So that's why, like what I was saying to you, Toby, it got really annoying in this one. It's like, no, you did this. No. Oh, wait, I'm going to save you with 15 seconds. Ah, shit, I needed at least 45 seconds to pull this one off. No. No.
Oh, okay. While intoxicated. Okay, he was drunk. Okay, never mind. As you were. As you were.
So yeah, no, like I said, it does not matter if he was sober and fucking ran my kid over. I would watch him fucking die, and I would love every fucking minute of it.
I think you watch this with a different perspective as a parent. Obviously, Derek is a parent. I am not a parent.
Oh, in 2006, I had the same perspective that I have today.
Yeah, that's fair, I guess. It's just like, I think it's a different... It's trying to be a commentary on, like, Jeff's humanity.
Yeah.
I think. Because he's like, on one hand, these people are responsible for his son's death and the injustice that followed. On the other hand, this is a human being. Can I live with myself if I let them die? You know?
Damn.
I'm serious. Yeah. Popcorn, everything. You would be in that frickin' pig trap, Jacob, screaming, and I'd be like, no. You let a fucking drunk driver get away with murdering my fucking son. How's that pig asshole taste in your fucking throat?
Oh no, dude. You wouldn't have been able to get that. You wouldn't have been able to get that line out to me before I would have just like held my breath until I died.
Oh,
I would have off myself immediately, dude. I could not do it.
I would have made sure you wouldn't have died fast.
Oh.
That's how sadistic I am. But to be fair, like now, if anything, like what Toby was trying to say, I might have a different perspective. No, having a kid reinforce the perspective that I already fucking have tenfold.
I mean,
like
they
would suffer.
I'm not saying that I would disagree with you because there definitely is a line that I do not cross with drunk driving. I don't. So there's that. And I probably would have let him die. But the judge and all that stuff, like all that subsidiary stuff, like I'm not sure if I would be able to live with myself because they're not the ones that did it, you know? So I would have some kind of empathy, whether it be the slightest little bit or not. I may have let them, I may have not, I don't know, but those are the ones that I would still be iffy about. Obviously, the person drunk driving, I feel like, I mean, you could have fucking avoided that. Like, heavy, you could have avoided that. Because that guy, regardless of the fact that he was drunk driving, and it was completely avoidable, still is going to live with the fact that he killed a child the rest of his life. And I'm sure he probably felt fucked the entire time. Like, even though he was probably thankful and grateful that he, like, managed to get off real easy, I bet you that shit was eating him up way worse than death ever could, by a landslide.
Yeah, but that wasn't making me feel any better.
No, and regardless, he's probably the only one that I would have not felt as much remorse for as the other ones.
And you know what? I would argue that I would argue that the guy that actually killed the kid got the, like, least sadistic trap out of all three of them.
I mean, the rack's pretty fucked.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucked.
But, like,
I still
what's
would think
worse?
I would probably take the rack before the fucking pig carcasses, though.
I'd take the rack before the fucking freezer trap, too. And that bitch was just a witness!
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing, too. The witness, I mean, I don't know what her motivation was for not saying anything. Like, that's kind of fucked up, I guess, but...
Is it ever this takes place? Because imagine this is some place like New York City or some shit. Like, she's probably just a fucking New Yorker. She's like, I don't give a fuck. I got places to be.
Yeah.
Okay, well then, while she's freezing to death, it's like, okay, hurry up and die, because I've got places I've got to be.
Jesus. Jesus.
Not one bit of sympathy. And I would have thanked fucking Jigsaw at the end instead of slicing his fucking throat with a circular saw. I'd been like, dude.
Okay, that's another thing. Like, yeah, putting me through all that shit would have sucked. But at the end of the day, he's not the one that killed my kid. As a matter of fact, he's the only one that brought justice to any of the people that were responsible for the injustice of my
bought him a
childhood.
beer. Not even joking.
That whole ending sequence where he kills John is fucking stupid, and I hate it.
I fucking hated it. Even, like, even seeing it live, like, because, like I said, I have the same perspective 18 years later that I had then. I was like, come on, dude. Like, I just dumb, ignorant. Okay, I'll talk a little bit else about the movie. They killed Carrie, and it wasn't even like she passed the trap, still died. Stupid. Fucking loved Carrie. Jeff's whole thing, like, literally fucking stupid. I did like the twist with him and Lynn being the husband and wife, because they were really setting it up to look like Lynn was with that other dude that she was leaving, but she was having the affair and stuff. That twist was awesome. Him slicing Jigsaw's throat, fucking stupid. I really actually do not like Saw 3 all that much. It was very disappointing, especially considering how much 2, like, fucking set the bar, and then 3 just fucking tripped all over it and landed dick first in the fucking pig guts that nobody wants to drown in.
Dig first in the pig guts. Ugh. No.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't used to like Saw 3 all that much. And I still, like, it's a hard watch for me, personally, because I lost my dad to cancer. And seeing John, the way that they portray him in that movie is fucking eerily accurate. And it's just hard to fucking watch. That's the only reason that I don't particularly like watching Saw 3. Because, like, upon rewatching it, I found kind of a new appreciation for it.
I wish I could, but I cannot get behind it, like, because I would have done everything completely different from the main character. And then, like I said before, oh, no, you did this! I'm just going to let the time run. Oh, shit, no, now I'm going to try and fail every time. Like, that just got old and annoying. Well, I guess he saves the judge, but then the judge gets his fucking head blown up later. Like...
Yeah.
This was definitely a fucking solid decrease from the first two, and I know it sounded like I shit on the first one because it was lower, but the first one is so much better than the third one. The second one is fucking light years better than, and nobody. I'm glad you have a newfound appreciation for it, Toby, but this is one that there's, how many is there? There's, I think, 3 or 4 of these movies I will not rewatch. This is one. Because it fucking pisses me off.
So, how would you have done it differently to still end up getting the same outcome? Because all of that still technically has to happen in order for the other stuff to play out, doesn't it?
What do you mean? Like, what? Just like if I was Jeff, I wouldn't have fucking helped a single fucking person. I would have bought Jigsaw a beer, became best friends with him, and an accomplice, saved my daughter. Or wait, actually, we're assuming that I don't get shot by somebody later.
Yeah.
No, I would have done everything that Jeff did completely different. I would not have tried to save anybody, and I would not have killed Jigsaw. I would have legitimately thanked him.
You know what? That puts a question into play. What would have happened if he had just made it through that whole thing and let everybody die? What happens at the end? Because Jigsaw wanted him to...
Well, everybody does end up dead. Everybody does end up dead, and it +1 because it kills Jigsaw as well. So what would have happened if Jigsaw didn't die? That's what I want to know.
Well, like the whole point of that game for Jeff was to learn to forgive or whatever, like let go of his hatred and shit. So if he gets to the end and he didn't try to save any of them, because he does try at least to save all of them, and they saw that, like they were watching him the whole time, so they saw that he was trying at least. He gets to the end, he doesn't try to save any of them. He takes the Derek approach and just eats some popcorn while they get their head twisted off.
Yeah.
He gets to the end. What does that confrontation look like?
Good question.
Well, I don't know what that confrontation would have looked like, but the whole the whole drama with Amanda and stuff still would have happened. So, Chick would have still gotten her head blown off one way or another.
No, the chick got her head blown off because Jeff fucking sliced Jigsaw's throat. because her shotgun collar was connected to his heart monitor.
Oh,
The
yeah,
second
yeah.
his heart
Oh,
stopped
yeah,
beating,
yeah, yeah.
and
That's fair,
boom.
that's fair, that's fair. Yeah, but she had just gotten shot, though. Amanda shot her.
Yeah, no, Lynn was probably going to die, but she wasn't dead. What I'm saying is the shotgun collar is what fucking killed her because Jeff sliced Jigsaw's throat.
I think the ultimate test for Jeff was just to not kill Jigsaw. Like, he goes through this whole fucking thing and is encountering the people responsible for his kid's death, and he's supposed to learn to forgive them so that by the end, when he gets to Jigsaw, he's able to forgive Jigsaw and let him live. And if he like ends up forgiving Jigsaw, his wife doesn't get her head blown off. I think that's what was supposed to happen.
Okay, to be 100% fair, though, his wife was being a cheating fucking bitch.
That's valid.
Just remember that. Just remember that.
I
These
don't know.
bitches are for the streets.
Jesus. But, okay, so regardless,
I'm fucking ruthless.
Amanda still shot what's-her-face, Lynn. Lynn would still probably have died. Amanda also would have died regardless because I'm pretty sure Jeff shoots her first, right?
Right in the neck, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Amanda shoots Lynn
Yes.
through the chest or stomach.
Jeff shoots Amanda. So Amanda's gonna die. Lynn's probably gonna die because good luck getting her out of this fucking convoluted hellscape before she bleeds out. So
She's a cheating bitch, too.
So she would have
Yeah,
still died, and
that's
he would have had no one else to take his anger out on other than Jigsaw. So he probably still would have ended up killing Jigsaw.
Why would you be angry?
That his wife died, and he wouldn't have had anywhere to, like, he
Okay,
wouldn't have had
once again-
anybody else to take it out on.
Once again, let me rephrase this. His wife was a cheating whore while after their son died.
Yeah, but
Why would he be angry?
he wouldn't have known that.
They fucking know. Jesus Christ.
Only Jigsaw and Amanda knew it, right?
It's not said if Jeff knew or didn't know. I'm just saying he would have fucking known.
He seemed pretty upset that she got her fucking head blown off. And he also seemed pretty upset that she got shot. He was pretty panicky. So he would have cared. So he would have still killed Jigsaw regardless. But my question is, what happens if Jigsaw lives? Does he recruit? Does he recruit what's his face?
Well, first off, Jeff would get his daughter, assuming everything went okay.
Yeah, but would he recruit him knowing he has a daughter still? Because what is he going to do? Just let Jeff leave? Knowing what Jeff knows?
I think he would at least try.
Yeah. I mean, he recruited Amanda, but the one thing that isn't, like, being fully taken into consideration, and yeah, I guess we'll just go ahead and dabble into it, that whole situation was fucked right out of the gate because of Agent Strong. Like, there was no... Jigsaw wasn't going to get out of that room, regardless. Jeff wasn't going to get... Well, Jeff actually probably would have stood a chance of getting out. But Jigsaw still probably wouldn't have left that room.
Yeah.
I think even if he didn't get his throat slit or shot in the face by Agent Strom, I'm pretty sure the cancer was like knocking on his fucking door waiting to kill him.
Yeah.
I think he would have had enough time left to answer questions, though. I mean, if he would have gotten taken into custody. But he probably would have had something planned for that anyway. He's got a fucking plan for everything, so... Interesting. Yeah, so that being said, especially knowing your opinion on 3 now, I'm curious to see what your opinion on the rest of the franchise is, because so far, dude, 4 and 5 are rough to watch, man. 4 and 5 are rough to watch. So, I don't know.
4 and 5 are pretty rough. I like 6 a lot. I'm going to be honest, I actually do quite like 6.
5's rough, yeah.
7 is fucking brutal, and not in a good way. And I just watched Jigsaw last night, and I actually like Jigsaw a lot, too. That was the first time I've seen Jigsaw since theaters, I think.
Okay, so do either of you know Did they have this whole thing planned? The producers and stuff and script writers and all that stuff. Did they have this whole idea planned, or were they building off shit as the movies were coming out? Do you know?
I think they probably had a plan for the trilogy. I don't think they planned for a franchise, and I think that's pretty evident by the drastic decrease in quality.
I would say, if anything, they had a few bullet points, maybe like, oh, hey, after this, we can do this. But then, yeah, 3, because of the way it ends, they hit panic. Wait, hold on. We just made like a $50 million. How the fuck do we keep the cash cow going?
Huh.
That's what I like. And it's like, we got to get creative. And then, so, if anything, the shit that they started putting in 4 and on was plotted out. Maybe 1 through 3 was, like Toby said. But I don't know.
Because it felt like after 3. See, okay, this is why I'm conflicted with it, because it seemed like after 3, they were running out of ideas, and that's why by the time 5 happened, I'm just sitting here like, why, why did we even make 5? You know, but the fact that they had made Jigsaw still put Jeff in a trap after the traps, you know, like your daughter, I'm the only one that knew where your daughter was, so here's another fucking game, a surprise, motherfucker. That made me feel like they were leaving it open-ended for another movie, you know? But at the end of the day, it doesn't seem like they had shit planned for another movie, because after that, everything seems to just go downhill, because none of that actually followed Jeff at all. Jeff, spoiler alert, by the way, which we'll talk about later, Jeff dies, like, right after that fucking scene. So, like,
yeah.
I don't know.
No, I don't think the girl being necessarily lost or whatever, it was a consequence. It wasn't a plot thread. It was a, well, you done fucked up because this is gonna happen now. I don't think it was ever meant to be anything more than that, because even at that moment, he was locked in that fucking room. So if somebody hadn't came along, cacao, then he was going to be stuck in that fucking room.
He wouldn't have been stuck in that room because of that fucking trap door that Strom goes through. He could have found that eventually. Maybe.
The trap door that I'm almost betting was put in Saw 5, like 4 or 5, not written into 3.
I'm saying he would have eventually been able to find that door and go through that, and then he would have had the fucking tank over his head and filled up with water like Strom did, but...
What I'm saying is that trap door wasn't fucking written into Saw 3. It was added into Saw 4. It wasn't originally planned for. So that goes into what we were saying about, like, 1 through 3 was probably planned out.
Yeah.
As shitty as 3 was. But then after that is when they just started pulling shit out of their ass.
Yeah, these movies got a really bad case of the Call of Duty Assassin's Creed treatment, where the franchise started popping off really, really hard, and then they were like, all right, we need another movie every year. I don't give a fuck what happens in the movie. I don't care if it makes sense. We need a Saw movie every year because people will pay for it.
Yeah.
And the fatigue fucking hit hard. Like...
Yeah. So upon rewatching these movies, I was watching, like, a movie or 2 every night up until I got through 7, and then I took like a 3-day break. I recommend that you guys do the same, because it's like the perfect stopping point. Between releases, there was like a 7-year gap between the final chapter and Jigsaw.
Yeah, I remember that came out fairly recently.
Yeah, it's a good stopping point, and it's very much needed, especially after 7, because 7 is fucking hard to get through.
Yeah, we took a break after 3, I think. We waited another day, like an extra day, to watch 4, because Deanna and Meg needed to cleanse their palate, they said. And then we watched 5 yesterday, but we're not watching any tonight because Meg's got to work tomorrow morning. So, yeah, so we'll probably watch 6 tomorrow. And
I will say,
7 the next day.
like,
We've been kind of breaking them up a little bit, is all I'm saying.
I'm going to give you a friendly warning since you're watching it with the girls. I don't know how they are with, like, really fucked up gore, but 6 ups the fucking gore quite a bit.
Oh, good. Well, I don't think Deanna cares all that much. I know Meg's a little bit more sensitive to the gore than Deanna is, surprisingly. But I will let them know. I'm watching it regardless. Speaking of lots of gore, unless you guys had any more closing thoughts on 3, or the total as a trilogy.
I think if this would have stopped at a trilogy, it would have been received a lot better, this franchise as a whole.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't even seen the rest of them, and I can agree with that.
Yeah, 1 good, 2 great, 3 not good.
Oof. Yeah, I didn't despise 3. Like Derek and I mean, it was all right. It definitely was my least favorite of the 3, by quite a bit, by quite a margin.
This is not my least favorite film of the franchise.
No, I just mean of the trilogy. It's definitely my least favorite of the trilogy.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall solid trilogy. As far as horror movies go, I don't know many really solid original 3 trilogy horror franchise. Like, I mean, unless maybe Nightmare on Elm Street, I would probably, because I like the first 3 Nightmare on Elm Streets quite a bit. But Halloween, they just dropped fucking Michael Myers off of the 3rd movie, so that's a whole different story entirely. So I wouldn't consider that a trilogy. The 2018 on Halloweens, obviously you can't count Halloween Ends because not a single soul fucking liked that movie.
People that did, I don't get.
They're lying. There's no fucking snowball's chance in hell they like that. Friday the 13th movies, I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can consider them a good trilogy. The first 3, I guess, but yikes. Anyway, my point is.
Yeah, you're right. I'm like trying to think of a good, really solid 3-movie horror movie trilogy, and I can't think of one.
I actually didn't realize until recently that Candyman has a Candyman 2 and 3, I'm pretty sure, from the original line of the Candyman movies. I didn't even realize that they had a trilogy. I thought it was just the first one and the remake, which was technically a sequel from the first one, I think. It takes place in the future after the first one. So the original first 2 and 3 or whatever are completely disregarded. So you can't really count that as a good trilogy,
Yeah,
I don't know.
If you're retconning shit, it's never good.
No.
I don't know if you would consider this a trilogy because they're all kind of standalone movies, but I think they are kind of clumped together most of the time. Night, Day, and Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
That's so solid. Okay, that's a cool trilogy, I suppose. Yeah. But again, see, that's what I'm saying though. There's not very many trilogies in the horror franchise that.
But even better question, they didn't even stop, because there was a 4th. There's Land of the Dead. That's that's the thing with horror movies. There is no trilogy because there is at least a 4th one, or it becomes a whole entire fucking thing.
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween, Saw. They all just end up being man, we got to make a fuck ton of these. We got to take Jason Voorhees to fucking Manhattan and space. Nobody asked for that.
Yeah, it's find me just a horror trilogy, just a horror trilogy. And then we're talking, but it don't exist.
It's not a trilogy yet. The 3rd movie hasn't come out yet.
But they've already talked about a 4th. So what was your point?
No. The weeks later, or the later movies, or whatever you want to call them. 28 days, 28 weeks, and 28 years later.
Years. I thought you were going to talk about Terrifier.
Yep, that's exactly what I thought.
Which was my next transition to the gore thing, because I've been seeing a lot of shit about Terrifier 3 and how this shit is fucked. Beyond fucked. And holy shit, dude! Like I've seen some like live reactions and whatnot that they've been posting on Instagram and whatnot. Dude, their faces tell everything. Like there's a lot of squirming in the seats and discomfort and oh.
I can't wait to watch Art the Clown kill a kid.
Jesus!
People are fucking ignorant.
Yeah,
Dude.
I don't know.
All I have seen, well, okay, not all I've seen. I've seen quite a bit, but nothing spoiler territory or anything. But I have seen a lot of people saying that the shower scene is like the shower scene when it comes to like shower scenes that we talk about. Obviously, like Psycho, or I can't remember which one it was, but the one where the hands coming out the back of the chick's head. I can't remember what movie that is, but
Not even a scary movie. I'd say Scarface has a better shower scene than the fucking Grudge.
Is that the Grudge? Is that what that is, where it's coming out the back of her head?
I think so. I could be wrong.
Anyway, when we're talking about horror movies and shower scenes and whatnot, apparently this shower scene is fucked. Like, like bad. So, and I'm pretty sure, Art, I'm forgetting his fucking name, David. Yeah, I'm pretty sure David Howard Thornton went on record saying that there was a scene that they were filming that even he was like, like struggling to shoot. So that's kind of impressive, but yeah, yikes, man. And I'm pretty sure he has gone on record saying that he was struggling to shoot the bed scene in Terrifier 2. So if he was struggling to shoot that, and then this one was even more, dog. I don't even want to know.
Good stuff.
I saw an interview with the director, David Howard Thornton, and Lauren. What the fuck's her name?
Lavera.
Lauren Lavera. They were all standing around together, and this reporter comes up and asks if they top the bedroom scene. And Lauren Lavera says, she looks over at the director and she says, "Oh, I think you topped it. I think you topped it a couple times."
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, Deanna and I'm pretty sure Deanna's off tomorrow, so I think we're going to try to get Terrifier 2 in tomorrow, because I finally showed her Terrifier 1. So we're going to do Terrifier 2 tomorrow. We'll see how she stomachs that one. And
Good luck and Godspeed.
yeah, we're going to attempt to get into theaters for Terrifier 3 on the 10th if we can.
When? Is it the 10th?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember when it came out.
Select AMC theaters only, though.
That
So-
figures.
Yeah, so,
Oh, yeah, I would have to go to fucking Iowa City. I forgot about that.
yeah.
Yep.
That's not bad.
Although,
though. Iowa City is a better drive than, like, fucking Chicago.
Well, assuming shit goes well and I can get my shit in order and actually make this happen, I'm planning on going to Des Moines to see Justin on the 18th. So maybe we'll fuck around and go see a movie. I don't know.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I surprisingly have, like, fallen into this Terrifier bandwagon, or whatever you want to call it, cult.
Dude, I remember when
I've actually, like, gotten into it pretty heavy, but
I remember when Terrifier 2 came out and we saw it, and you were asking about it or something, and I was straight up like, "Jacob, you're not going to like this movie." And you know why I said that? I said that because you thought the Saw movies were torture porn.
yeah.
I specifically said you wouldn't like Terrifier 2 because of your opinion on the Saw movies.
Yeah, but Saw
And then,
movies...
and then you saw it and you were like, "Yeah, it was pretty good."
The Saw movies in particular, though, are, like, in my head, at least, at the end of the day, I wasn't paying attention when I first watched them to the story. I was just like, okay, these guys are going to get put in traps. Whatever. This guy is sadistic fuck that likes to watch people struggle in traps and stuff. I wasn't into the whole, like, him rehabilitating people and shit. Like, I didn't picture any of that in my head when I was watching them. So
fair.
I didn't follow any of that. So in my head, yeah, he was just a sadistic fuck putting people in traps. But I think with the Terrifier movies, it dips its toes into the realm of fantasy. Maybe not so much as Nightmare on Elm Street or something, or It. Speaking of killer clowns, but it is still like pretty far left out of the realm of possibilities of any of this shit happening, you know. So it's not like, not to mention Art himself just adds a level of comedy to it. You know what I mean? Like he has a pretty stark level of comedy. It's not just a one-liner here and there because he doesn't say anything at all, but it's almost like he's the comic relief in his own movie, you know, even though he's the one doing all the heinous shit. Like, that's really fucked up and gross and whatnot, but that's probably where I started getting into that whole thing. It's just because it is a horror comedy at the end of the day. As fucked up and nasty and gross and shit as it is, it's very comedic for what it is, so...
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Don't show this to your kids, though, please. Fuck me, dude. God, Jesus. I seen a couple people in the Art the Clown fan group that we're in, Derek, and I don't know if Toby, you're into that one or not, but people were telling, or like posting shit about like showing Terrifier 2 to their 3-year-olds and shit, and I'm like, dude.
I've never...
Dog, come on,
I love that. I love that fucking group. There are really cool people in that, but even that has me like, what the fuck? Like showing that to like a 3-year-old. Oh, my 4-year-old's favorite movie's Terrifier 2.
No, dude.
Not to be judgy, but Jesus Christ, that's bad. That's bad.
I don't believe in like censorship type shit. You know, like I don't care if kids are dropping the F-bomb or whatever. I don't care, you know. I don't care if my kids are watching shit that's like rated R even to some degree, you know. But like there is a definite line that should probably be drawn with that, you know, especially the developmental ages from probably around the time that they're 3-ish, you know, when they're starting to understand what things are and how things work a little bit, to the time that they're like 10. You know, that whole period right there is like extremely developmental for kids. And that's when they start understanding how that stuff works in the real world. You know, that's when they kind of get an idea of what death is, you know, and that's when they kind of get the idea of what pain is and what kind of things cause certain types of pain and shit. And yeah, you can't just say, "Oh, yeah, sweetie, it's fake. It's all fake." No, that's like that. Even I, as a kid, when I would see stuff like that on TV accidentally, because my parents didn't let me watch this shit, no way in hell. But when I accidentally saw shit like this, and it scared the fuck out of me, dude. My parents would be like, no, it's all fake, it's okay. And then in my child head, I'm like, okay, it's all fake. But in my room, while I'm sitting there by myself, I'm like, man, I'm fucking terrified, dude. I'm scared out of my goddamn mind. Fuck this shit. You know,
showing your 4-year-old kid Terrifier 2 is fucking insane to me, dude. I saw Jurassic Park when I was like 6.
It scared the fuck out of me.
Tortured me. Yeah. I was sitting in my fucking room after that, like, there's a velociraptor in the hallway.
Yep.
Well, okay, so obviously completely different. Because, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, all of those. I had literally seen all of them probably by the time I was 4 years old. And, you know, they never scared me or anything. Leprechaun did. But, anyways.
That's neither here nor there.
Showing Terrifier, though, to kids that young. Like, I mean, Jacob hasn't seen any of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I'm not going to show him any of those until he's older. He knows what Freddy is. He likes the way Freddy looks. He helped me unbox all of those.
Yeah.
But
it looks cool.
He ain't going to watch those fucking movies.
I had Spawn action figures that I had no right having when I was a child, but I was never allowed to watch Spawn. I just thought they looked cool.
Yeah. So the people that are like, yeah, you know, my toddler really loves Terrifier. It's like, I'm sorry to be that guy, but even as a diehard horror fan, like literally since I was that kid's age, that is still fucking atrocious and should not be happening.
Yeah, please don't.
Like, just all there is to it.
Don't show the fuck. Just to keep it on topic. Don't show your kids Saw either, for fuck's sake. Good God, man.
Yeah.
Come on now.
God.
Fuck.
People are just ridiculous, man.
Anyway.
Yeah, I should clarify that because I said that I saw 2 when I was like 7 years old, 6, 7 years old, something like that. For clarification, my cousin, the babysitter, was watching that movie while me and my sister were like in a different room playing or doing whatever the fuck kids do. I saw that by complete accident. If my parents knew that I was watching that, it would have been game over.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Oh, my parents knew I was watching the shit because my sister watched me all the time, but it's when I started buying the VHS tapes that's when they're like, hey, no. And it's like, what's the fucking point?
As a matter of fact, I think if my mom would have known that my cousin was watching that at all in our house, she would have freaked the fuck out.
And she would have been promptly fired.
Yeah. I remember I had a babysitter.
Cousin.
I had a babysitter one time when I was younger. Not related, by the way. Just a lady that my mom worked with's daughter. I actually asked my mom about her recently because I wanted to know which Scream movie it was. She took me to see a Scream movie. She snuck me into the theater. Not just me, like, to see it. She wanted to watch it, but she was babysitting me, and, like, her friends were going and stuff. She didn't want to miss it. So what do you do in that situation? You bring the child you're babysitting. But I'm pretty sure it was a re-showing of Scream 1, because I distinctly remember the scene in the beginning. That's the only scene I remember, because the rest of it's a blur to me. Well, not anymore. I've seen it, obviously, tons of times since then. But at the time, all I could remember was seeing fucking what's-her-face, the
Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore's character in the beginning. All I could see in my head was her hanging from that fucking tree with her guts falling out and shit. And it terrified the fuck out of me, dude. When I was young, I was little. And I know that was in theaters well before I was, like, able to be snuck into a movie theater. But this would have been when I was, like, 5 or so. It had to have been around 2000 when Scream 3 came out. But I don't think it was 3. I'm pretty sure it was the first one at some, like, re-showing kind of thing. Maybe a cinema cafe or some shit that, like, show older movies or something. I don't know. But
yeah, like art theater or something like that.
Yeah, and it terrified the fuck out of me. I lost sleep as a kid. And I remember Ghostface being super terrifying to me. Like, on Trick or Treat. Like, I could see all these crazy, creepy monsters that were way scarier than Ghostface. But every time I'd see Ghostface, it scared the piss out of me because of that movie, you know? So,
Yeah.
just seeing shit like that, you know, and then knowing that people show Terrifier 2 to their child is like, what are you doing, dog? What are you doing?
That's another aspect of that I didn't even consider. People are going to dress up as Art the Clown for fucking Halloween and go out and trick-or-treat or whatever. So imagine you show Terrifier 2 to your, like, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, and then take them trick-or-treating in their little, like, Optimus Prime costume, and they're walking down fucking Main Street, and they see Art the Clown standing on the corner holding a bag of trash.
Yeah. And no matter how many times...
That's fucking that kid up, dude.
Yeah, no matter how many times you tell the child, it's fake, it's fake, it's fake, it's only on TV, it's only on TV. Once they see it on Halloween night, yeah, he's real.
Right there.
Exactly. Then you can't differentiate that. As a child, you cannot differentiate that. That's burned into your head. Until you get old enough to understand the disconnect, you know? But,
I know that happened to me. I was, like, obviously I was aware that trick-or-treaters are just people in costumes, but I distinctly remember I was, like, probably 4 or 5 years old, and there was this guy wearing a Ghostface costume, but he was walking around on stilts, so he was fucking enormous. And that shit fucking terrified me for some reason.
yeah.
And it kept me up at night for, like, that next week, because I was, like... I was a kid and I couldn't rationalize that in my head. I was like, why was he so tall? That couldn't have been a person.
Yeah. It's fake. It's all on TV, buddy. Until you see it in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't get it, but people are crazy, bro. People are fucking crazy, and all I want is for you guys to not show Terrifier or Saw or Scream or fucking whatever. Stuff that's got shit like that, that's very much something that they can't differentiate between real and fake, to their fucking kids, man. Don't do it.
Just let your kids be kids. You can have your own passions and like if you're a horror fan, that's fine. I'm a horror fan. We're all horror fans here. Don't put that on your kids.
Yeah.
Let them be kids. There's Transformers, there's Spider-Man, there's fucking there's all this shit that's kid friendly out there. Let them be kids.
There's also very
they're like 13.
There's also very like kid-friendly like gateway horror movies to get kids into horror, you know? Like if you want them to be into horror, sure, that's cool, whatever, like something you guys can have in common, absolutely, but like show them fucking Five Nights at Freddy's or some shit, you know? Like that really wasn't that scary, to be honest. Let's be real. It wasn't that scary. Some of the Goosebumps movies or whatever, you know? Like even though some of those could have been pretty scary too, but like there are plenty of Halloween movies that are definitely kid-friendly, that are like gateway drugs into horror, that are plenty fine for kids to get into, you know? But yeah, leave the hard shit out, man. Don't give them meth right away. Let them smoke some weed first. Fuck. For legal reasons, that was a joke. That was a joke. Don't give your kids any kinds of drugs, please.
Oh my god.
Oh fuck. Yeah, so that's really it. I don't know if you guys had anything else to say on Saw 1, 2, or 3 while we're here, but if not, thank you all for watching. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for joining Toby, and we'll have you back here for round 2 when we talk about 4, 5, 6, and 7, right?
7. Yes.
4, 5, 6, and 7, and then after that one, we will do the last 3, which is Jigsaw, X, and Spiral. Okay.
Yeah. Jigsaw, Spiral, and in that order.
Yeah, so next time, I don't know when we're going to post this. We'll talk about this after I get done recording, but yeah, stay tuned for the next episode of the Saw franchise. Derek and I also were talking about possibly doing a little bit on the new movie, It's What's Inside, that just came out recently, because I just watched that yesterday and it was very good, so stay tuned for that possibly. Not sure if we'll do something on that yet, but if we end up doing it, we'll do we can even do like a little quick review. We don't have to like talk about it all in depth if you don't want to, but yeah, that's it, I think. Obviously it's spooky season, it's October, so make sure you keep in the loop for Nightmare on Elm Street, which we'll definitely be doing something about. Terrifier 3 probably gonna happen as well. What else we got? I'll probably do the Halloween movies.
More than likely, if we're like Terrifier 3 will probably be out like on the 11th, so we're not going to be able to record it the night of the 10th because Deanna already told me you guys got an hour drive. It's a 4.5 hour double feature. I've got a 2 hour drive, 4.5 double feature,
Yeah.
2 hour drive back, so we can record that like Monday morning, or not Monday morning, Friday morning, and then just throw it up.
Yeah. Yeah, but still, regardless, stay tuned for that. And the way you're going to do that is by liking this video and subscribing to the channel and ringing the notification bell so you get notified when we post stuff. And we've got a lot of stuff on here, guys, and I think we've probably doubled the amount of shit we've gotten on the channel thanks to Derek putting out these mini reviews and shit. Just absolutely pumping them out like a fucking machine. So check those out. Check those out for sure. Let us know. Let us know. What do you guys think of the Saw franchise? What do you think of 1, 2, and 3 at the very least? Would you have not saved anybody in Saw 3 like Derek? Or would you had a little remorse? Would you had a little bit of a talking to with yourself beforehand? Let us know down in the comments. Let's talk about it. With that out of the way, we'll see you in the next one when we talk about Saw 4, 5, 6, and 7. Peace.